Alright, what's good YouTube? It's Aurzyn, and today we are going to be going over some of the best guard builds on NBA 2K22. Now obviously the game has been out for about 5 months as this video is being posted, and with that time we've been able to find like the perfect builds to make for if you are a guard or a center or anything. But in today's video specifically, I'm going to be going over the best builds for a guard. So if you're looking to make a new guard build, these are going to be the builds that are going to be super dominant and the best guard builds in the game. Now I'm going to have builds for all different types of play styles, so no matter what your play style is, this video is going to cover it, so make sure you stay tuned and watch the entire video. As well as, if you guys don't know, DF did drop merch. Make sure to get your merch. The link is in the description, thedfclan.com, and use code Aurzyn at checkout. And finally, make sure to hit that sub button. We are on the road to 100k. We're currently at 25k. I really want to get to 100k by the end of the year. So go ahead, click that sub button, see if we can get there. But yeah, that's about it for the intro, and let's get straight into the video. Alright guys, so I actually have 3 different builds to show you guys, and in this I'm going to be not ranking them. So they're not ranked like 1, 2, and 3. These are just simply the best 3 builds because they apply to different scenarios, different things, different people. So these are just going to be the best 3 builds, and there's no specific order. So starting off, we are going to be at the shooting guard position. This isn't going to be for all of them, but for the first one, you want to go shooting guard. Go ahead and continue. Now, the first pie chart I want to go over is obviously one of my favorite pie charts in the game. It is going to be the red and the yellow right here. And with this pie chart, you really get a lockdown build that can also dribble, shoot, get contact dunks. It's a very insane, overpowered build. So we're going to be starting off with this one. And normally, like I was saying, I would tell you guys to go with the pure speed pie chart. But with this build, it's one of the few builds where you can get away with going speed vert and still having 99 speed when you like obviously max out the build and stuff. So we're going to be going with the 4th pie chart in the physical profile for like for your physicals. And it is going to be the speed and vert one. Now moving on in order for the attributes, I'm going to go through the most important ones first. So starting off with shooting. Shooting is very important. We're going to max out everything on shooting. And you guys can see we get 11 shooting badges right there. Then we're going to max out playmaking. You guys can see we have 20 playmaking badges. If we take it off, we still only have 20. So, or we lose one, so we have to keep it at 86 passes like you see. So we still have 20 badges. Moving on to defense, we upgrade perimeter, lateral quickness, steal, defensive rebound, and block until we have 19 defensive badges. As you guys can see, we have 19, and obviously you guys can tell that this build is shaping up to be really nice and super overpowered, just the build itself. So you guys can see we only have 5 finishing badges, and I don't think finishing badges are super important in this game. However, if you guys do want to, you get 2 extra shooting badges if you do this. If you take off your shooting, that 1 extra badge, and put it like this, you get 2 extra finishing badges. I personally go with the shooting one, but like I said, if you have like extra badge points from like season rewards or something like that, it might be in your best interest to go with this build because you're getting more badges overall, and then you can just put those extra badges on your shooting anyway. So with that being said, let's go ahead and hit continue. Body shape, it does not matter. And height, this is a very important thing, so don't skip this. Height is a very important thing because you guys can see we are 1.96 meters in this build. And also, if you guys are confused, if you guys haven't watched any of my other build videos, go ahead and go to your features and then go to the settings and scroll down. There will be a setting called units of measurement on the very main menu. On the main menu, you need to do this. There'll be a setting called units of measurement. Change that to metric system, and then you guys will see like meters instead of feet and inches, and you can make better builds like this. So with this being said, 1.96 meters. If you guys don't know, the cutoff for like all the dribble moves you get being under 6'5" is actually a little bit weird in the metric system, and this is one of the reasons we do in the metric system. So with that being said, if we are 6'5" in the imperial system, we do not get the extra dribble moves that you get from being under 6'5" because you technically have to be under 6'5". So with that being said, 1.96 is 6'5". So if we make the build 1.95, we're still pretty much 6'5", but we're now able to get all those dribble moves. So 1.95, we're able to get all those dribble moves as well as still be as tall as possible. So 1.95 is the perfect height, so go ahead and put that on. And if you are in the Imperial system, you don't care about this. This is gonna make your build better, but like if you don't care, just go 6'4", because that's gonna allow you to get all the drill moves. You cannot be 6'5" or over. You have to be under 6'5". So going on to the weight now, obviously no matter what system or what anything you're in, it is going to be pretty much minimum. And then you guys can see I go up a little bit to where I don't lose an acceleration or speed, and we are 81 kilograms. And wingspan is going to be maxed. We want max wingspan because we want the best defense. We're going to be able to shoot regardless. We want the ball handle. We're going to be able to dribble regardless. And we want those contact dunks that we will get at 84 driving dunk when we hit 99 overall. And finally, for the takeover. Now, in my opinion, all of these takeovers are not really like super elite. So I think it's kind of up to you. Any four of these takeovers work. I would lean towards lockdown, but lockdown's pretty hard to get, so that's why you wouldn't gonna go lockdown. Playmaking, it's not as effective as it was in previous years, and slashing is good, but slashing's just not that good in this game. So, and finally, shot gritting doesn't really matter because you're two-way playmakers. So, yeah, I would go with either lockdowns, playmaking, or slashing. It's up to you, but yeah. That's the first build, and as you guys can see, it is a two-way playmaker. Alright guys, now hopping into the second build right here. This build is going to be a shooting guard as well. And hitting continue, going into the pie charts. The pie chart for this build, I can't make a best builds list without including it. It's the play shot, it's the yellow green. Like I was saying, like you can't make a best guard build without including this build right here. It is honestly one of the best guard builds in the game and one of the best builds in the game in general, and there's really no way you can't include it on a best guard builds video. So yeah, it is here today. I'm gonna show you guys how to make the best one possible. You want to start by upgrading all of your shooting until you have 25 shooting badges, because in this game you don't really need the finishing, so you can make a super overpowered play shot with dribbling, shooting, and defense, and you don't really get punished for not having finishing. Upgrading our playmaking until we have 23 playmaking badges, and then finally doing literally everything in defense. We just want as many defensive badges as possible, and with that we get 9 right here. You guys can see I'm gonna take off the offensive rebound because, well, I don't think driving is important. We do want a little bit of driving, so we're gonna put driving dunk up and driving layup up 1. It doesn't really matter, like driving is not the most important, but in case you ever need to drive, you have it just in case. You know, you don't need a finishing badge or anything though. So yeah, this is the build, this is the play shot build. And for the height, you are going to want to go anywhere between 1.93 and 1.83. So 1.83 is the minimum I would go, and 1.93 is the maximum. So that's anywhere from 6 foot to 6'4". I would say if you are focusing more on twos, I would go at the higher end, so 6'3", 6'4", and 1.90 to 1.93 is where I would really recommend going. And if you are playing threes more, I would recommend going 1.83 to like 1.87, or otherwise being like 6 foot to 6'2" max if you're playing threes. But yeah, you generally want to be taller and have better defense on twos, and be shorter and have better offense on threes. So yeah, that's what I would do if I were you, and it doesn't really matter for me. So weight, we're gonna go minimum. Wingspan, we're gonna go minimum regardless of what height you are or whatever you are. And you guys could see these are the final stats. And for takeover, for me, this is really just a no-brainer. These other like shot critting and playmaking are just nowhere on the level of sharpshooter. So I would 100% pick sharpshooting takeover. And as you guys can see, we have the playmaking shot creator. Everyone hates this build, but I can't not include it in this video, so there you have it. Last and finally, moving on to the last build, and for this build, it's actually going to be a point guard. And the reason I've made the other builds shooting guards is, one, because you get better badge counts, but also when you are a shooting guard, especially on the build like a two-way playmaker, being a shooting guard allows you to get a rim protector. For some reason, you cannot get that badge at a point guard position, but for this build, we are going to need a point guard position because this pie chart does not have playmaking in it, and we want to get dimer and floor general, and we want our playmaking to be as good as possible. So with that being said, this build is going to be a point guard instead of a shooting guard. Normally you want a shooting guard, but point guards, in my opinion, are a little bit better for this build, and that is going to be the half red, half green Hall of Fame defense, Hall of Fame shooting pie chart. This pie chart, if it's in the right hands, will be absolutely insane. Starting off with the shooting right here, you guys can see we bump it up, and we should get about 20 shooting badges, as you guys can see right there. And then going on to the playmaking, you guys can see we up the playmaking, and we should get about 13 playmaking badges. Now, if you guys have any extra badges from the seasons, I would highly recommend putting them into playmaking. Playmaking is a little bit lacking on this build, and that's probably the weak point, but the defense and the shooting is so good that it makes up for having that lack of playmaking, because your ideal usage of this build is going to be on the twos court, being able to guard every single ISO player, screens, everything, while also being able to dribble, get open, and shoot. That's the ideal uses of this build, and it is very, very good at that. Moving on to defense, we want to upgrade perimeter defense, lateral quickness, steal, defensive rebounds, and we want to get block until we have 20 defensive badges, as you guys can see right there. And finally, with our last 44 attributes, we are going to put them into finishing. Not that, like I was saying, with the last build, finishing is not the most important thing. However, we want just a little bit in case of emergency, in case we need to take a dunk, we don't just miss the layup or miss the dunk. We want a little bit, but like I said, it's not too important. 120, 1320, absolutely insane badge count for a build. Any build that could shoot, play defense, and dribble is going to be an insane build. So yeah, this build is actually a super good build. Moving on to the height right here, it's going to be a similar scenario to the two-way playmaker. Moving the height up until we get to 1.95. This is the maximum we can get all those dribble moves. Not that it really, I don't really think there's a dribble move that matters for that, because you don't get 85 ball control on this build. You only have 80, but there are some really good dribble moves you can get, and there's not really a point to going any taller than this anyway. In fact, I would actually recommend, if you want, going 1.94, because that way you can turn the wingspan up a little bit. You guys can see go up 2 on the wingspan, and you don't lose a ball control rating. But if you do go 1.95 and you go minimum weight and you turn the wingspan up, you guys can see you don't get enough for 80 ball control at 99. So in my opinion, 1.94 is actually a slightly better height for this build. Minimum weight, obviously, and wingspan going up 2. And you guys can see we get better defense, and we still have that ball handle, which is the most important part. And finally, for the takeover, like I was saying, like the shot creating and playmaking, they don't compare to sharpshooting, and you can go lock if you're looking for more of a lockdown build, but honestly, none of these takeovers compare to sharpshooting. It's the best takeover in the game by far, so I would 100% pick sharpshooting takeover. And as you guys can see, the build comes out as a two-way pass for a point, and in my opinion, this is one of the best guard builds in the game, just because of its ability to shoot, play defense, and dribble, get open. And yeah, that's gonna be about it for this video. If you guys want to see other videos like this and me showing you guys the best center builds or the best builds in general in the game or the best ISO builds, make sure to comment down below and leave a like on this video. But yeah, that's gonna be about it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hope you guys learned something, and I'm out, man. Peace.